104.7 The Cave plays pure classic rock.
104.7 The Cave, Carry On Wayward Son from Kansas. Good morning, Mike the Intern. So Kansas is releasing a CD, DVD package tomorrow called Miracles Out of Nowhere. It's a new documentary about Kansas's rise to stardom. I got their founding drummer here today. Now, you say that you were amazed that the band became successful at all.
There's a lot of people who are really good at what they do that have never been successful. So, the fact that we were really good at what we did, yes, probably helped over a long period of time, but the breaks that we got were, unfathomable in a lot of ways. You just never would have figured something like that would have happened. You couldn't script this because nobody would believe you. And so that's why we call it Miracles Out of Nowhere, because it really was a miracle.
So tell me more about the band's unlikely path to fame.
I think one thing that I learned by watching the film is that the band Kansas probably never should have happened. It just probably never should have. It was just such a long shot, and everything that happened was a long shot. Nothing was simple. Nothing was just, get up in the morning and play in a band and everything. It was really, really long shots and impossible things that happened. And that's what I learned by watching it. It's an amazing story that this band was successful at all.
Tell me about some of the footage you used in this movie.
It was getting everybody back to Topeka, where we hadn't been in decades, and getting all six of us back to areas where we had lived, where we played, where we breathed and slept and ate, and kind of reliving that time period was very interesting, not having done it in over 30 years.
We'll get to more with Phil from Kansas on the way next on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, good morning. Today in the studio with Phil, founding drummer from Kansas. Their new documentary, Miracles Out of Nowhere, comes out this week. And we're talking about how he felt when he watched the documentary.
You just realize how close you were to those guys and how big a part of each other's lives we were. And I think in a lot of ways people say you can never go home again, but I think in this film, we went home for a little while.
Now tell me why it was decided you guys would only focus on the band's early years.
We decided to pick the beginning of the band through our most successful time of our career, which was the first album, Through Point of No Return, those 5 albums. And it helped us, focus on what we wanted to do as far as telling a story. Instead of trying to weave a story through 40 years with different members and this breaking up and this falling apart, it gets too confusing. This was a story of 6 guys who started out in Topeka and who became one of the biggest bands of their era. And so it was easier to tell just concentrating on the heyday.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. It's a deep cut from the J. Giles Band. Love Stinks on 104.7 The Cave.
104.7 The Cave plays pure classic rock.